Hello everybody, welcome to TMI Live number 34, your protogé paw. McLuhan Institute Live, number 34. I didn't for once announce this beforehand, so we'll see if anybody shows up. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Regardless, hello everybody out there in quarantine land. From my pandemic hideout to yours. Hello. I didn't have a specific agenda for today's thing, so we'll just go ahead and do it like this. Am I sideways? Can you see me? Oh, hey, say Rain, how's it going? Am I up and down? Am I sideways? Is it weird? I forget if I usually do this vertical or horizontal. I guess I always do it vertical. Hold up. Let's fix this. If it's not too weird. Oh no, I'm messing things up now. I guess I'm stuck. Hold up. What am I doing? Forget it. I'll just stick with this program. I am sideways. Okay, forget. Damn it. Thank you. Hold up. Let me get with my own darn program here. This is a mess. Oh gosh. I'm gonna blame it on the pandemic, okay? Can we do that? Darn it. Dagnabbit. Oh man, now it's just going all weird. Okay. Hold up, dude. Let's do it this way. We'll make it work somehow. Technical difficulties is the new normal, right? There we go. Okay, so is that better? You gonna be able to see me down here? There we go. Hey, okay. Let's try this again. Welcome to TMI Live. Thanks for the tech support, Say Rain. I owe you one. Welcome to TMI Live number 34, calling it your protege paw for reasons that will become obvious. I actually came out to the shop here a little bit earlier to do an interview on Twitch that ended up not working out. Is it all sounding good? That works. Lovely. Yeah, this thing that didn't work, so whatever, here I am. And it's a slightly weird camera angle, but I think it'll work. And I'll get my stuff together for next week, or not. Anyway, it's another week. I'm in the library. I have a stack of books. I have a computer program. I'm documenting and inventorying. And finding interesting stuff along the way. For example, this here copy of Understanding Media, first paperback edition, Paperback Edition, 1966, with a nice signature from the author, if you can see it. Marshall wrote his name inside it. That's kind of nice. I just started on the stack. I'm still on these McLuhan shelves here. There they are. Yeah, I'm still on the McLuhan shelves. 3 copies of the Gutenberg Galaxy, which I just inventoried. This is the 2011 edition, Centenary Edition, Marshall's birth, 1911 to 2011, which features essays by Terence Gordon, Elena Lamberti in Bologna, and Dominique Scheffel-Dunand, one-time director of the Center for Culture and Technology, who I swear I saw in Berlin 2 years ago, but I emailed her and she never emailed me back, so maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who knows? No notes or anything in that. Next, okay, so we have 2 copies of the Gutenberg Galaxy. This is the first edition of the hardcover. It's covered in plastic stuff. Which is too bad because I'd love to give a better view of it. It's a little bit hard worn. It's inscribed for Eric from Dad, which is very nice. At the time, Eric was at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Wisconsin. Yeah. And in the back there's a day pass. I know this is all backwards, I apologize, but that's a 1961 day pass from Malmstrom Base, where Dad was stationed in Vietnam times, where he, quote, flew a desk, as he said. This is a really neat edition. It's a first edition, which is great. It's for Eric from Dad, which is also great. But it's got a lot of notes from Dad through it. Eric, that is. Margin notes. Here he's written consciousness. He's underlined consciousness here on page 5 is hyphenated consciousness, and Dad's written in the margin no together, consciousness. Lots of interesting margin notes. A lot of Dad took up his father's style of annotation, and it used a lot of the same conventions. Marshall had a lot of things he commonly looked out for. Here's an example of that. C/A, cliche to archetype. They were always looking for recurring themes, even in their own work. And there are a couple really cool inclusions in here I wanted to share with you. Here's the first one. So, as I said, this was Eric's copy, but Marshall, at one time or another anyway, got a hold of it and thoughtfully didn't make notes directly in the text, but inserted this sheet, and it's a folded sheet, so it makes 4 pages, and it's author's corrections. And I don't know the printing history. I don't know when he did a second edition. But he would have gone through and looked for corrections, and they're here. The corrections are noted, and then they're crossed out, meaning that they were corrected in the updated manuscript or whatever he supplied. But there are a couple, not just corrections, but interesting things to look for. Page 64, check my MSS, my manuscript, for Spengler. Check Spengler text in my MSS, or Irvine, or White. Inclusions, deletions, substitutions, etc. So that's pretty neat. A nice thing to have, I guess. And then I found this inset pair of pages, which are really nice, interleaved into page 255. And it's funny because they're 2 separate notes written on the backs of other notes. Canadian Institute of Communications Memorandum, Dear Marshall. I'm not sure what that said. And then the other is an invitation. Dear Mr. McLuhan, I wish to invite you to attend a coffee party at my home to meet Mr. Robert Beardsley, our new Democratic candidate for Spadina riding. Time, date, blah, blah, blah. But the notes on the back here from Marshall to Eric are really sweet. They're fragments as soon as something arrived. Then at the bottom here it says, With electric age, our central nervous system goes outside, globally. Our physical organs go inside the brain! Exclamation mark. Blessings, Dad. Which is a pretty cool artifact. Again, sorry it's backwards. Maybe I'll take some pictures and put them up on the Instagram, which is the McLuhan Institute on Instagram at McInstitute. McInstitute, ha ha ha. The second note, electronic membrane round the Earth is simultaneous field equals central nervous system outered. For first time, man has put his central nervous system out and his body in. That which is out is numb. See galaxy. Consciousness reverts to the non-outered equals the bodily organs. Brain now numb. Body now aware equals the unconscious cum esp as formula of new human condition. That's pretty wild. Not really much of a way of dating these. I suppose if we found out when Mr. Robert Beardsley was the NDP candidate for Spadina riding, was running, we could probably date this note to that time, given it's on the back of that invitation. But these are cool kind of proto-thoughts from Marshall, jamming back and forth with his son, Eric. And Dad kept them inside this copy of Gutenberg Galaxy, which was very thoughtful of him. And then there are a few notes in the back. That's as far as I'd gotten so far tonight. Next up is from Cliché to Archetype, Marshall McLuhan and Wilfred Watson. And the dedication here reads, "With special thanks to Eric, for his conversation has taken us into Joyce's mysteries again and again. You should have had a special word of acknowledgement for proofreading this book under most adverse conditions. Your protege pa, Marshall McLuhan." And I'm going to try not to cry because it tears me up, but the copies of my own dad, Eric's books that he gave me, feature inscriptions that are very similar to the ones his father wrote to him in editions of the books he gave him, which is really sweet of my dad, or weird. It only made sense to me years later when I saw the inscription in his book, what the heck he was talking about. Another nice thing is my dad died coming up on 2 years ago now. Eric died this May. It'll be 2 years, and that's coming up fast, and it's been on my mind. I wish he was around to talk about what's happening here today, but he's not, although he is. Before he died, he hadn't been in, he was in okay health, but he wasn't going to live forever, and I was terrified of when he wouldn't be around anymore. So I was always begging him to write stuff down, to leave notes. And he did. And in the last year plus I've been spending in this library, I've been finding them, which is really sweet. And here's one such note tucked into the inside cover, and it says, C/A, cliched archetype, in any reissue, include the Flaubert between the chapters, and reposition the notes, underlined. Dad was a little miffed. I think I mentioned it in a previous TMI Live that the reissue of Cliché to Archetype wasn't quite exactly to the spirit of the book, in that in this book, one of the interesting things about it is it's all alphabetical. So the table of contents is under T, way back near the back of the book. Everything runs, index is under I earlier in the book, and they didn't do that. They made a few adjustments in the reissue. The introduction should be under I, but it's not, etc. Anyway, I'm just flipping through this for the first time. I'm going to cut it. I was going to cut it short and not go overly long, but I did want to read one other thing. On top of those shelves are so packed full that there are things positioned on top of the vertical books laying horizontally, and this is one of those things, which is titled "Laws of the Media: New Science" by Eric McLuhan. And I'd asked him about it. I guess I found it before because I included a note of myself, of my own on the front. It's a paper given at York University, February 21st, 1991, at Glasnost and the Global Village Conference. I thought I would read this tonight, but now I've been talking already for over my prescribed 15 minutes. Still, I'll read this introduction here, and maybe revisit or otherwise publish it again. Again, this is from 1991. It starts with a Chaucer quote, which I'm not good at reading Old English, so I'm not going to try. The book Laws of Media began as a project to revise an earlier work, Understanding Media, by answering objections that it was, quote, not scientific. When we began work in the early 70s, and I talked about this last week, EUMR, Understanding Media Revised, there was no science of media at all, not even a theory of media, that is, of effects, including side effects. And there he's given his theory of media, which is of effects, including side effects. We began with the notion that a science must have laws, and the single question, what do all media do? We expected to find a dozen or more laws in short order. Indeed, Understanding Media provided a few starting points. From the subtitle, The Extensions of Man, we could state that each of our technologies extends or amplifies some human faculty or organ, and early chapters afforded some more clues. All media translate, Chapter 6, knowledge, experience, energy from one mode into another. New technologies create new environments, Chapter 1, the medium is the message, of services and disservices and alterations in human awareness and association, which we're seeing right now, alterations in human awareness and association. It's a big deal. Any form pushed to the limit of its potential will reverse, Chapter 3, its characteristics and assume a complementary form. These general observations led to the first three laws of media, which I have framed as questions: what is displaced or pushed aside? What is extended, amplified, enhanced? What is the reversal phase? We found a fourth law in the study from cliché to archetype. What, earlier displaced form, is retrieved? And there, for the last 18 years, the matter has stood. Try as we might, we have been able to find a single exception to these four, or to find a fifth law that all media obey. Apparently, there are just 4 laws of media, even as there are 3 laws of motion in physics or 4 forces. Can you find a fifth or an exception to one of these 4? He was always looking for it and never found it. The 4 laws are given as questions to underline the fact that they do not derive from any theory. They are, however, complementary. I might even suggest that there is a double dialectic involved, retrieval and obsolescence, while separate processes, as shown in From Cliché to Archetype, form a single dynamic interchange between a figure and a ground. Quote, new archetype is ye old cliché writ large, end quote. A corresponding interchange occurs between enhancement and reversal. Amplification carried to an extreme yields reversal and complementarity. Naturally, any innovation, the above were chose at random, I skipped a couple examples, will amplify, displace, etc. a whole spectrum of forms and practices, which means that each law highlights a matrix or pattern of disposition and coercion. But it is imperative to realize that there is here no sequence. All four processes, for that is what they are present in the thing from the first moment simultaneously. And this is why they changed from, when they first started stating the laws of media, they went A, B, C, D. And they changed that because A, B, C, D naturally leads you to placing them in a certain order. And there is no order when everything happens at once. They all exist at once. You can't say one is there first, one goes first or second. Because the four are simultaneous, it does not matter which order they are presented in. Yet there are complementarities, and more than two, so there is merit in pairing the statements, rather like a poet pairing lines in a stanza. In fact, as we proceeded, we found other complementarities. Not only is enhancement related to reversal and retrieval to obsolescence, or A is to B and C is to D, but the four laws have the ratios A is to B as C is to D. This is most easily seen when they're written not sequentially but as follows. Enhancement is to reversal as retrieval is to obsolescence. This displays four sets of complementarities. The four laws, let us now call them a tetrad, can be read left to right, or right to left, or bottom to top, or top to bottom. It was not our intention to impose this. It emerged gradually over the years as we worked with the laws. Again, let us examine an instance. And we won't, I'm not going to read the whole thing right now. Maybe some other time. I'm going to try and get some work done. But I do want to do more about the laws of media, which I think is very useful, especially at a time like this. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you all stay safe and well, and I know this is really messed up, and let's just do our best. See you here next week.